Kashikilanka stood at the edge of the world, finally accompanied by a companion, someone who could comprehend and shape the world at his side. And yet, he could find nothing to make Koshikolanka understand this fact. It was as if Koshikolanka could not see the great expanse, despite the sight that Kashikilanka had brought to it. Kashikilanka knew not how to demonstrate the technique to someone who could not watch. Koshikolanka, despite having eyes, could not see the world that Kashikilanka had created. Kashikilanka paced about, circling Koshikolanka, pondering how he could make him understand. He placed a hand on his companion, and began to breathe in sync with Koshikolanka. He stared into the foggy eyes of Koshikolanka, and began to wonder if anything could make him see. Hand in hand, they walked back to the lake. Kashikilanka stopped, and sat Koshikolanka down, so that their feet could touch the water. Instantly, Koshikolanka perked up. He could feel the water. Kashikilanka smiled at his companion. He may not have been perfect, but it was nice to see someone else taking comfort and enjoyment in the world. Koshikolanka looked to the sky as the wind filled his hair. Kashikilanka glanced up, then back to Koshikolanka. Despite the fog, it looked like something was going on in Koshikolanka's head. Koshikolanka opened his mouth, and fog started to spill out. The fog rose to the very top of the sky. From his legs, the fog oozed into the water. Kashikilanka took a step back. He was about to do something, but then he noticed the fog was changing. As it permeated the water, it seemed to attach itself. Much like how Kashikilanka had brought sight to the world, he gazed with wonder as the fog formed something he could have never even conceptualized. It changed the very light. It gave the sight he had created depth and complexity. He looked into the sky and saw it swirling around for a moment, until settling in. In a world of sight, a world Kashikilanka thought contained everything that it could possibly contain, Koshikolanka had just created something new. He had created the first ever color. He'd created blue. Koshikolanka excitedly slapped at the water and smiled. His eyes darted around. He started splashing water on the dirt, in the air, and with a large sweep, right onto Kashikilanka. Kashikilanka was confused for a moment, but then saw Koshikolanka staring at him through his foggy eyes. An excitement rose between the two. Koshikolanka pointed towards Kashikilanka and excitedly shouted, "Kashiki!" Kashikilanka smiled back. He pointed a wet finger to Koshikolanka. "Koshiko." Suddenly, a completely new thought popped into Kashikilanka's head. He pointed to the water and gave it a name. He pointed to the soil and gave it a name. Koshikolanka began to follow suit. Kashikilanka had given the world sight. Koshikolanka had given it color. But only together could they give it speech. Only together could they create something truly new.